traders, Raghee here. Let's go ahead and address probably the question that most of us are asking or are being asked. And that is this the bottom? Is this where the market finds support, meaning the indices, S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, and we're up and away? And the bottom line is this: we never know. So we have to always presume that a downtrend is going to persist until it doesn't. Now, when I'm looking at a downtrend, and by the way, I'm on TradingView charts at the moment. When I'm in a downtrend, what I'm looking for is what's known as a double red market. And that's where the momentum is red and the trend is red. Now, a lot of you might ask, Rog, what does that even mean? What is it measuring? It's measuring the 8, the 13, the 21, and then separately the 34. So this is your Momo reading. This is your trend reading. Now notice, even though these are stacked, if you will, that's often the parlance, we're not looking at all of these together. We're separating the momentum from the trend. And that's the most important thing about this particular trade flag, to understand the trend. And then the history of this reading here are these columns, or rows, I should say, of red, yellow, and green. So I can see the history of the way the trend transitioned. The NASDAQ trend is down, and it's against my rules to even say that this move here is now a trend break. In fact, for me, a trend break is really a two-part process. We've got a break above the wave, which would stop the red grab candles, likely get us to a yellow trend. The second part, so that's just part one. The second part is getting above this 200 exponential. That'd be part two. We're nowhere near either. In fact, when I look at this very tight last major move, right, with this very small last major move, we have not even retraced 50% of that small move from May 5 to May 12. Haven't even retraced that tiny move from minor high to minor low. So very difficult to say that the bottom is in, right? That this is the end of the downtrend. I think it's also important to remember that today at 2 p.m. when Powell was speaking at a Wall Street Journal event, that he reiterated time and time again that if we need to move past neutral, we won't hesitate. We will continue raising rates until we see inflation coming down. Inflation is way too high. We need to bring it down, right? We have the tools and the resolve to get inflation back down. We know that this is a time for Fed to be tightly focused on getting inflation down. What do you think the takeaway is there, gang? We are going to continue to see rates being increased. Does the equity market accept this? That's a great question. I think it's way too soon to tell. S&P last major move, barely a 50% retracement of this last major move from May, right? Barely a 50%. And of course, still very much in a downtrend. You know, there's certain words that even I struggle to take out of my jargon when I'm talking about the market. Everything should be what I see. The moment I hear myself utter things like, well, this is what I think. This is what, even worse, this is what I feel, right? We never want to get into that trap. It's always what we see, and what we see should then map to what we are going to do, right? That's it. See, do. And if I don't see it, there's nothing to do. What do I see today? I see a retracement. Is it enough to take advantage of a correction? In some corners of the market, it may be. It might be more at individual sector levels. XLC, XLK, XLY, they haven't traveled high enough for us to do anything with. XLF, I want to see, again, see, then do. 21, that would be great. I mean, that would be great to see that kind of move. And then we know what we want to do at the 21, get long puts. Now, ultimately, we also could probably, and this is, partly what I do as a futures trader, then that maps to my ETF and stock options trading life. The euro is a really interesting corner of the market because we had a significant rally right to, look at this gorgeous volume ledge right there. Look at that volume ledge and how it maps to where we went. Did it get to the 21? No, but what else do I see? Volume. And then the 21 would offer us a second opportunity to build a short position, either shorting 6E, getting long puts on the 6E, or grabbing some FXE puts, right? Another market on the future side, dollars moving because why? Powell, gang, Powell. The Canadian dollar is another interesting corner of this conversation. I don't want to short both the, say, euro and pound. I don't want to short, say, both the Canadian dollar and Australian dollar. I want to pick perhaps one COMDOL, right, which is what the Canadian dollar would be, and then also a heavily weighted currency out of the US dollar basket, which would be euro, pound, or yen. So if you find yourself short or long a bunch of COMDOLs or short or long pound, yen, euro altogether, you're quite heavily weighted within a singular narrative of US dollar movement. So be careful with that. Don't overburden yourself with the same theme, right? Long dollar against COMDOLs is one theme. Long dollar against basket currencies is another. So pick the best of each one. So the bottom line is this a bounce or a bottom? It's not what I think. It's not what I feel. It's what I see. It's what we see. We have to trust our tools, and these tools might be very different than your tools, right? But whatever your tools are, trust what you see, then let what you see map to what you are going to do. And that's what I really just want to get across in this video. Don't FOMO and think, oh, this bounce is it. This is where the bottom gets put in. Please remember the words of Powell. We are not done with rate hikes, and understand just how much, or quite frankly, how little we've retraced of a very small last major move. And that where this bounce is occurring is in a downtrend, and this is short the rip or short the rally, my friends. This is the kind of bounce we focus on to the short side. Could we move a little bit higher? Of course we could. But until or unless we break that 200 in the wave, right? These are just bounces, or potentially the market transitioning into chop, where we're still going to look for this downside. Okay? Hope that helps. I'm not trying to be a pessimist. I'm not trying to be just bearish for the sake of being bearish. I would love for this market to put in a bottom. But probability, from a probabilistic standpoint, red over red is not the environment to start looking at bottom picking. If you do want to start looking at opportunities like that, find an individual sector that's neutral. And when I tell you it's going to happen, is you're going to have a hard time finding an individual sector that's neutral, right? So if you can't find an individual sector that's neutral, maybe you can go to an individual stock. There's some interesting strength in healthcare as opposed to what we're seeing everywhere else. Notice it's not established in the double red. So maybe if you want to go bottom picking, go do it in healthcare. Find something that's relative outperformer. In this case, neutral would be a relative outperformer. I hope that helps. I hope that starts to give everyone a little bit of a roadmap as to, yes, there are wonderful opportunities in this market. And if you are going to start to think about the short side, days like today when we move higher are it. If you're thinking about the long side, find neutral markets. Find markets that are tethered to the energy narrative right now. XLE, OIH, XOP, FCG, RBOB gas, beautiful uptrend. Natural gas, beautiful uptrend. Dollar index, amazing uptrend. There are trends. They're just not happening in the places that we're used to them happening. And they're not happening in the direction that we're used to them happening from the last 2 years, okay? By the way, if you want to keep this conversation going, ask me questions, join me for charts and coffee. Monday through Friday, 9 to 9:20, right before we go into the respective rooms for the trading day. You can check out the Sunday Notes live show. The replay is right back at the Simpler Trading YouTube channel. Of course, I share my notes each week on Sunday evening, and then we go do the show. So hopefully one way or the other, we can keep this conversation going, and I can keep you abreast of, what it is that I am seeing that's going to map to what we are doing. All right, gang. So thanks as always for listening. Thanks as always for watching. Thanks for the comments. Thanks for the questions. And thanks for smashing that like button. I'll see you in the next update. Hey traders, Raghee from Simpler Trading. Thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to leave a like and a comment below. And remember, subscribe and click the bell icon so you'll get notified of the next update. And when you're ready to join me for live trading, be sure to head on over to simplertrading.com. I'll see you in the next update.